Hey everybody, it's time to continue with our story, time for more Alienated. I'm glad you're following along, I hope you're enjoying the story, and make sure to hit subscribe, and that way you'll get notified every time there's a new chapter. We are up to chapter 29 in the story already, I can't quite believe that. But before we start, as always, a quick shout out. Today is kind of an important one, and really, in a way, a historic one. Today's shout out is to Giulia, with a G, in Los Angeles, California. And the reason this is important is that Giulia was probably the very first person to read this book. Before it was even a book, it was just a manuscript, and she read it and really liked it. And in fact, it was important. So Giulia, thank you, because you gave me the sort of inspiration and the courage, really, to finish the book and get it published and get it turned into what it is today. So thank you very much. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe, staying in. And let's crack on with the story. This is chapter 29, Trial by Rocket. I grabbed the wheel, and the virtual dashboard flashed to life. The racer could feel me. It knew what I wanted, and what I wanted was to win. Sonia called up to me from the tarmac. "You can beat the reeds on speed," she said, "but against a Yazzer beast, you'll have to be cunning. Try to annoy him, use his temper against him, break his concentration." Bata's racer looked like 100 bazookas glued together, then spray-painted black. He snarled at me from the cockpit. He was smaller than Graz, more wiry, but he had sharper teeth and a scarier growl. I waved, cool as I could, trying to unnerve him. The slugs ushered my friends back behind the fence, and suddenly I was alone with my frantically pounding heart. 4 Ajabots glided over everyone's heads and hovered, gassy-smelling blue flames spurting from jets on their feet above the starting line. "Bipeds and quadrupeds, mammals and machines," the biggest one boomed. "Welcome to the qualifiers." He explained the course was straight to the east radar tower and back, 200 miles each way, and there would be 3 heats. Only the 3 winners would advance to the finals. The drive-in screen burst to life with shaky images of the Reed, Bata, and me, and then, when 2 of the Ajabots whizzed way up into the night sky, it showed spectacular overhead views of the drive-in, the crowd, and the racers. "We're filming everything," the loud Ajabot said, "so you guys won't miss a thing." The crowd whooped and cheered. "You there, Houston?" I asked. "I'm here," he said, his voice crackling in my ear. "They're going to start any moment. Get ready." "Don't crash into the radar tower," Sonia's voice said. "Do the spinning thing again," Octo said. "I can film it off the drive-in screen this time, buddy." "Don't do the spinning thing," Sonia said. "Racers," the Ajabot announced, louder than ever. "Are you ready?" Bata punched the air and howled. The yellow sphere shimmered and went transparent. The xenophile pilot inside waved with his whole body, and the crowd loved it. I gave another thumbs up, pressed the clutch with my left foot, hovered my right foot over the accelerator. "Remember, Sherman," Houston said, "gently." "Racers," the Ajabot continued. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I hovered my foot over the accelerator. "Ignition!" I stomped as hard as I could, shooting off like, well, a rocket. "Gently," Sonia yelled. "Keep the radar tower in sight," Houston said. "You must be ready for your turn." "Spin it," Octo growled. The air whooshed. The giants and their engines did their teeth-rattling "ah" thing, and I lined up my trajectory with the floodlit tower in the distance. I checked my flanks. I was keeping pace with the other 2 rockets. "Hey," Octo said in my earpiece, "nice going, Earthman. Show him, Houston." A floating TV picture bleeped into life and showed me 3 dazzling white lines, the racers' 3 exhaust flames shooting across the desert. And the middle one, my rocket, was in the lead. "Don't get too excited," Sonia said. "Any time now, that yellow ball's gonna..." And then there was a flash to my left, and the sphere roared. On the screen, the Reed's vapor trail suddenly drifted upward, above Bata and me. "Start having fun." "He's gonna loop," Octo laughed. "Then bounce." Over the intercom, I heard the drive-in crowd start chanting, "Loop-de-loop, loop-de-loop, loop-de-loop." And then it happened. The yellow sphere soared up, up, up towards the stars, then swooped back down, bouncing off the desert floor like a rubber ball and hurling through the air until it was right back next to me. Bata, meanwhile, had made up some ground and was close enough for me to see a long, gloopy string of Yazerby snot fly from his nose and splatter against his racer's steering fins. Classy. "Any tips from the pit crew?" I called. "Go, faster, dude," Octo said, clearly chomping something at the same time. "You need to go faster." "Tell the venti tent," I said to Houston, "just enjoy his pizza. I'm going flat out here." "He says to enjoy your pizza," Houston said. "Whoa," Octo marveled. "How did you know it was pizza?" "Will you guys concentrate?" Sonia said. "The tower's coming up, Sherman." The reed was on my port side and Bata to my starboard. We were neck and neck and neck, and suddenly Bata rammed into me. "Ah!" I yelled. The rocket races were supposed to be non-contact, but then again, so was touch football. The bump sent me into a spiral, and I pulled the ship up to avoid hitting the yellow ball. Once I was upside down, I spotted Bata's ship careen across and smash sideways into the unsuspecting reed ship. It bounced uncontrollably across the ground. My competitors were down, but I was in a death spiral, and I couldn't stop. I spun and spun, unable to regain control. "Your starboard engine's malfunctioned," said Houston. "It's keeping you in the spiral." "You've got to jettison it," said Sonia. I opened the hood to the two levers that controlled the rocket boosters. I pulled up hard on the right-hand lever, but nothing happened. "It's stuck!" I screamed, going into another spin. "Sherman, watch the tower," called Sonia. "Don't hit it." That was it. I could knock the dud rocket off the racer by clipping the tower. I controlled the spiral just long enough to slam my starboard rocket into the concrete tower, dislodging it from the racer. I heard a crunch as the engine slammed off. "Good move," cried Octo. I swung the ship around and prepared to race to the finish. Not that I had any other rocket to worry about now. It was then I noticed that not only had I knocked off my own misfiring rocket, I'd fractured the tower. It was collapsing like an oversized game of Jenga. "Move it!" shouted Sonia. I hit the acceleration, hoping to avoid any falling concrete, and blasted my way back across the dark desert. I shot over Bata, yelling at the reed, who was twisted into a pretzel, but fortunately not hurt. I eased up on the engine, worried about overheating the single fusion booster, and soon soared triumphantly over the finish line. The crowd cheered, and I heard the Ajabats announce Aldrin as the winner, advancing me to the finals. At that moment, I wanted to rip off the mask and get some credit for what had been a pretty eventful race. But I knew if I did, NATO would be handing me over faster than I could say Article 5. I parked the rocket away from the crowds, behind the drive-in screen, and Octo reached up with a few tentacles to lift me to the ground. We hugged, high-fived, and woohooed. My whole body buzzed with excitement. I felt part of something, a team, a winning team. "You did great, Sherman," said Sonia. "Good flying," said Houston, for a human. "Thanks, guys." I scanned the distant crowd, looking for the blue glow, but both Juliet and Ned were gone. Did she stay to see me win?" "Dunno," Octo said. "We were all eyes on you, buckaroo." All right, and that's chapter 29. Come back tomorrow for chapter 30. Make sure you subscribe, and I hope to see you guys again tomorrow. Stay in, stay safe, take care of one another, and I hope you're enjoying this.